Hi, everybody. Welcome to the collaboration station. Christopher, how are you? Have you heard anything back from like Unconfined? Did he hire you yet? Because he needs to. Like, you would make the most kick-ass music video ever.
I would, and he did not, but I do appreciate you suggesting me. But yeah, I have not heard anything from him. I did send him a DM. He follows me, but didn't hear back.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry for him. You know, you're amazing. I really enjoy your videos, even though you do horror is now when I go into interest, those little bubble things I'm interested in, horror now shows up. And I'm pretty sure that's because of you and Rich, because I do not like scary stuff at all. But you guys do these incredible, creepy things now and then.
I like to keep a balance. It's like half and half. Like more dreamlike stuff. But yeah, it's mostly creepy stuff. I get that. Yeah.
Well, that last one, maybe it wasn't the last one. I haven't been to your page, so apologize if I'm wrong. The one with the woman going into that city and, you couldn't show any emotion. And I really was blown away by the amount of emotion that you were able to put into that AI character's face. Like, that blew me away. I hadn't seen anything like that in anybody else's AI generated work before. Not saying that it hasn't happened, but the tools are coming along so rapidly, and the amount of prompting it must have taken you, I just can only imagine. I mean, I can barely get it to, AI to put up two things right, especially if it's Grok, but yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of hammering to get it to do that, but it's a lot better now, especially with the video tools. That one was like 7 months old. I just been sitting on it for a while, but yeah, it's a lot better these days to get the video tools to give you the kind of emotion that you're looking for and not have it just be kind of like a slideshow, slow motion kind of thing.
Isn't that crazy that 7 months ago, like the technology is advancing so quickly that something you produced 7 months ago, like you're referring to it as old tech, like, and I'm in the same boat, like, because I just started doing this about 8 months ago. I want to say, yeah, 7 to 8 months ago, actually. And yeah, same thing. The stuff I produced then compared to what I'm making now. I mean, obviously, I've gotten a little bit better at what I'm doing, but the technology, like, the AI generations, the video clips, just everything, the tracking, the movement, the lip syncing, what you can do with it, it's evolving so quickly.
Well, I remember when Melissa was working on Mo's Place, and, I was listening in the background. I wasn't physically with her, but the amount of frustration, and she was having to use so many different tools to do like something simple. And I knew, just listening to her, I knew I did not want to play with it more than, I did a Luma prompt once. The night you won that contest, I did a Luma prompt, and I was like, this looks like it would be a lot of work. And listening to her, I was like, oh my God, that's way too much work. And I'm just going to wait for a few months, because I knew that the tools were evolving so rapidly that, the struggles to learn, that learning curve and the amount of work to put in to create something is going to be next to nothing in 2 years compared to where it is today, even. So I'm excited to do video AI someday.
I would say jump in as soon as possible, because you're still going to be learning the extraneous tools as you're working, and that's going to help the quality of anything you do. And I think, I mean, the reason why I posted that video at all is because there was a story. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and I think it still holds up because of that, because I put all that effort into it, and I think it's good to see how far a person's progressed. People are interested in that more so than I imagined before.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Christopher. I like to see that progression in people's work. And that's something I like about X, is that it kind of is a public journey of what I'm doing here with like the art that I'm creating, the music videos, the AI stuff and everything. And like that highlights tab, like anything I put out there, I put into that highlights tab. And if you go all the way back to like, a year and a half ago or whatever, like it's all silver. Like there's no AI anything. You can tell, like I just came into this, But yeah, with that, I just want to welcome everybody to the space today. Welcome, Cate. I don't think we've heard from you. Cate is kind of doing other stuff, but she's here with us for a while. But that's why I'm hosting today. And then we have Christopher with us, of course, as always, the wonderful Christopher. And Christopher, I don't know if you are going to create a poll for us or not, but if you want to.
Yes.
Yes?
I have one ready, prepared. It's up in the Projectotron. And
oh, sweet. Yeah, tell us about it.
Okay, so the question is, what era would you want to time travel to? And your options are 1940s to 1950s, 1960s to 1970s, 1980s to 1990s, or other. And let us know in the comments right below.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm like, do I want to go back to high school or I don't know. Yeah, I'm interested to see what people say. Thank you.
Well, I guess the question is like you as you are now, not like, back in.
Oh, that's better. So yeah, that's an easy one for me, but
Let's just assume you're prepared for it. Like you're not just being, bubble pops and you're there and you're kind of screwed and you're wearing modern clothes.
Okay, yeah, let's keep that in mind. And then we have Aura with us today. Aura is she's like our number one fill-in for if Cate or Christopher or myself is unavailable, because Aura hosts we like to call our sister community, What the Cluck. If you go to her profile, you will see it there, pinned, spotlighted at the top of her profile. And I just want to welcome Aura to the space and say thank you so much for filling in today.
Why, I am so honored. And, I absolutely love this community and what Cate is building here. And I'm always happy to support in any way I can.
Yay. Sorry, I need to get a glass of water. I was very ill prepared for this space this morning. But yeah, so this is just an open space. We're just kind of chit-chatting, sharing anything that you have that you're working on. If you want to talk about anything that you have worked on in the past or any ideas that you have for future projects, please feel free, request a microphone, come up, chat with us. Go ahead, Dori.
Well, good morning. I didn't know if you were getting to, I didn't know if you were going to get to me or not. So I thought, well, I better just dive in. That's me, diving away. So I just wanted to let you guys.
And she dove right into the rug. Dori, we can't hear you.
I forgot to do the bingo. We should have done the bingo. Dori, come back to us. Come back to the light. Carol Ann.
Yeah, and now I'm wondering if she had her hand up. I did not see her hand up, or I would have said something. I'm just feeling like I'm here to kill, make sure there's not dead air.
You're doing a great job. We're both doing a great job.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so while we're waiting for Dori to, oh, nope. Hi, Cate.
Yeah, I'm happy to share until Dori gets up, because yes, I want to thank everyone for filling in. Yeah, I won't be able to stay for the whole time, and I hate to end a space early or just have it be erratic. I wasn't sure like what the timing of today would be, so I really appreciate you guys jumping in and helping out. But I wanted to share, since it's just an open chat and share, my post from last night. I'm going to put it up top here as this spec ad I made of retro ski posters. I worked really hard on it and it was a lot of fun. We were talking about the Luma Labs earlier there. I was listening, and so I used that and I made an AI voice for the voiceover. And the cool thing also in Luma that gets a little bit slept on is the sound effects they add now. So you can generate a video, and then once you have the little clip how you want it, you can prompt for an audio track under it, and it's a super cool feature. So, Dori, are you there? Okay, sorry, I thought I heard Dori.
Yeah, Cate, I love that advertisement you did. Like, I think it's like it's commercial ready. I feel like, like put that on posters, put that on TV, like it's ready to be seen. It looks really good. And so the Luma, the sound effects or whatever, did you do that for all of the clips or just a few of them, or how'd you work that into it?
Yeah, I did it for all of the clips because I wanted that sound of the skis hitting the snow. That layer of sound is so important. And then also like the ones with the train, I make sure the train whistle, that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. And the prompting on that is really good. I find you can be pretty specific and it'll do a really good job and try and match the animation fairly accurately. So like when the ski hits the snow, it kind of makes that sound.
So what were you using? I was just listening to this while you were talking. What were you using for the voice and the music?
So the voice, I used Hume, Hume. They just kind of released a new, it's a playground because it's in beta for generating voices. So it's very similar to 11 Labs, but they are like kind of the underdog company. So I'm kind of interested in them a little bit, and they're really nice people. So I've always enjoyed their chat bot. So I was experimenting with their new voice model. So that's what the voice is made with. And then the music, I used Udio, UDIO, to make the music. And it just, when I heard it, I was like, oh, that's perfect. So perfect.
Yeah, the whole thing is so perfect. I'm looking at it and going, wow, this is wow. How long did that take you to make?
Well, I was been working on it for a couple weeks, but all in, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 hours or something like that if I put it all together.
That's amazing, Cate. I'm blown away.
So
Yeah, a lot of that time is just generating the clips because that does take a while and you can't do it all at once because it just takes time and the things lock up and everything. But yeah, I'd say probably 8 hours or so if I estimated.
So if you want to support the show, there is a link above for our partner link with Luma Labs. And yeah, they are the #1 image to video model on the market today, 100%. I absolutely recommend them. They're amazing. And a quick tip about pro tip about the sound effects. When you add sound effects to your videos, it gets downscaled from 1080p, like a larger, higher quality video, to 720p. So if you make audio with it, you could download both clips, the one that has the audio and the one that doesn't have the audio, and then put the one that does not have the audio on top, and you'll get a better video result with the audio. So hopefully that gets updated soon. I assume it's just like a cost saving feature, but yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't have that problem. I would upscale once I got to 4K and then put the audio on, and I didn't seem to have that problem. But maybe it downscaled to 1080 and I didn't notice.
Yeah, mine doesn't do that either, Christopher. Like I'm looking at one right now and it says 4K and it has the audio clip that it generated for me.
Yeah, generally I don't upscale to 4K just because my computer can't handle it. It's just like it can't even play it back. So I don't. I try to avoid that usually. It just gets all choppy and crazy, and I'm like, I don't even know how this is gonna look at the end.
Yeah, that sucks. You need a new computer, man. Come on.
Yes, I need a lot of things.
Close some tabs, bro.
Hey, it looks like we got Dori back with us. Dori, if you want to request a mic, I will give it to you and we can try to have you. Oh, wait. I think Dori just left again. I think she's having computer problems probably or connectivity issues. But if anybody else wants to come up and chat, please feel free. Request a mic. Cindy, Anna, Fauna, Joe, Avni, music video show, anybody. Feel free to come up and chat. Just an open discussion today. Usually we have a really good topic in place, but since Cate is kind of AFK, we have me as a host and I'm less prepared. So yeah, we're just...
So really, if you think about it, it's Cate's fault.
It's totally Cate's fault. Yeah, so just blame her. Send her DMs about it. How angry you are. But
so,
yeah,
I floated the idea of talking about cross promotion. Do you want to get into that, or you want to talk about something else?
no, I liked the idea of talking about cross promotion. I think it's important both to cross promote yourself on different platforms and potentially to work with other people to cross promote, kind of like what might happen eventually between like Cate and Aura's communities on X, what the Cluck and the Collaboration Station. There's a lot of room there for them to cross promote one another. I haven't found anybody specifically to work with for cross promotion myself, like where I specifically share a lot of their work and they share a lot of my work. I don't think that's considered engagement farming if it's just like one person that you're kind of working with to cross promote. But I am interested in hearing what you guys have to say about that. Have you tried to cross promote with other people in the past? Are you doing anything currently? Do you have anything on the scope for the future? What does cross promotion look like for you? And how do you think that can help you both grow your brand, your social media page, and anything else that you're working on? If anybody has any ideas about that, anything you want to discuss or share, please request the mic, come up, let us know what you're thinking. Cate, I see your hand up. What do you think?
Well, I didn't have my hand up, but I always have something to add. So, but cross promotion. So for example, like I posted a video the other day using the AI generated voice that I made with the Hume app, and I tagged them in it. And then they reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to have some credits so you can experiment with this more and, use it in your content? And see, this is something that's pretty cool when you already use something and you're showing it off and you like using it and you talk about it and you're creating cool content with it, then you tag them. They might be interested in that. And so it's not like a full-on collaboration, but it's, a way of cross promoting. So there's no written agreement. They give me some free credits and stuff to use their stuff. And then they'll maybe throw me a like, maybe a repost, a share, or use my content somehow in their post. Who knows? I have no idea. But it's just, I like those kind of handshake agreements anyway. So it's pretty cool. That's an example that's happened recently for me with cross promotion.
So Hume is a good example. I think if you're targeting brands, I think Cate went about it in a good way, which is you want to target those that, number one, you're interested in, you could actually see using, and number two, that they're maybe just getting started. So they'd be much more willing to work with people, maybe even if you don't have a ton of followers. And it's kind of a win-win. You're showing their product and what it can be used for, and they're reposting your stuff. They may have more visibility than you, so it's definitely a win-win.
Yeah, go ahead, Aura,
sorry.
Please. No, please.
Well, I was going to say, I'm not working with brands like Cate, but I found early on that cross promotion was what drives the success of my account. And, I didn't go into it like intellectually thinking that. I just wanted to help promote other people, but then they end up helping promote me at some point. And I think Green Man's been super successful in doing that, in, reaching out and collaborating with people, or even if he's not specifically collaborating, he's just using some of theirs to help promote them a little bit. When we share out the space, speaking of which, guys, if you'd go down, you can't go down, there's no bubble, but if you go look on the collaboration station, the space is there. If you could reshare that post, let other people know that we're here chatting. That's cross promotion, right? Like that love that you give out comes back to you when you're working and specifically in social media in promoting other accounts as well as your own. But it can be a little bit more of a handshake agreement. Hey, I'm working on this. I'll share your thing. You share my thing. We're not talking about engagement group or manipulation, guys. I want to be really clear about that. But like my friend Tony writes a lot of long form, just as I do. So when she has a series coming out, I'll make sure to make room in my posting schedule to include her articles. So yeah, that's about all I have to add on it, other than, cross promotion is probably a win-win. And especially if you can get the attention of brands like that, I think that, it helps you as a smaller creator, but it also helps them because they get to show people that are using their products, enjoying their products. And that goes, so much further than an advertisement will. Yeah, that's what I have to say on that, Rich.
No, that's good. I like that. I think you're right. I think it's good to try to go after those larger brands and, those companies and stuff like that to kind of cross promote. But when you're doing it that way, you're just kind of hoping that they are going to like what you're producing and potentially share it, that way you get a larger audience and you do kind of gain from that cross promotion, I guess. But I'm wondering if anybody has worked with anybody like specifically like other creators on X to cross promote, like maybe you drop their name a lot in your videos or in your spaces, trying to shuffle people from one space to another space, things like that. I feel like I've kind of cross promoted a little bit with Cate and Christopher. Well, we do these bi-weekly spaces for the collaboration station, and then we also do the AI Inferno spaces. And so for those recently, I've been doing like a lot of images that show like our faces together, to try to promote the space. And it definitely doesn't look 100% like us because I'm using AI. So it's kind of like our likeness, But I feel like that's still kind of cross promoting because it kind of associates all three of our brands and pushes us together. And then it's something that Cate can go out and share with her audience. Christopher can share it in his way. I can share it, and stuff like that. So I like that type of cross promotion. And then I like what you spoke about with what Green Man is doing too, how he is reaching out to other accounts here on X and collaborating with them on projects in a form of cross promotion, because I think that maybe they share whatever video that he produced with them in it also. So, it's hitting both audiences that way. I really like that. And I've seen somebody else do that too. Oh, I want to say his name is Devin, or it's not the Dev that everybody knows. So this guy, he did a video where he's like eating cotton candy that somebody passed him through the video. Luna, or she's like this woman on X here who's like, she's like a carpenter or something. Anyway, she's like handing him insulation, and he has a video where he's like taking it from her, but they're in two different parts of the country, and then he's like eating it like it's cotton candy. Anyway, it's really funny, it's humorous, but they're cross promoting each other, and they both posted it to each of their own pages, and I really liked that. So I would be interested in doing stuff like that if anybody else has any interest in that. And or I don't know if your hand is still up, but my computer's totally glitching on me today.
It is.
Okay, yeah,
It
please go
is.
ahead, Aura.
Because I was going to say that was kind of a great example of cross promotion. I threw Green Man's name in, and you're rarely going to find me anywhere without like trying to give him a little plug. But I was going to say specifically addressing what you were saying about spaces. A while back, Not Brock was doing Not a Space, and they would heavily cross promote What the Cluck and close out and bring the audience over. And then we were cross promoting, gosh, and I mean, but that's a nature of my community. So it might not be as pertinent to the conversation. Like, we're always trying to promote other people, what they're doing, other spaces, other accounts, other communities, anything that we feel our audience or participants, I think is a better word for spaces, because you're not just listening, you guys are talking too. Speaking of which, feel free to request a mic. We will give you one. But yeah, I really think that, helping people promote what they're doing is just a really core part of what we're doing in our community. And I know that it is the same in this community. It's one of the reasons why I love it so much. And like, I go a little bit further because so many people are not good at self-promotion. I'll kind of put them on the spot. And I think most people have gotten, they know they'd better come prepared, because I'm going to stop and, hey, Kate, will you do a plug for Collaboration Station? And that might feel a little mean. It did at first, but then I realized as I was talking to my friends, and especially, they had subscriptions and whatnot, that they weren't out telling people about it. So as their friend, as, a cheerleader, I do feel duty bound to draw that out of you and make you tell us about it. So yeah, absolutely on Spaces. I think that's a great way to cross promote. Even if the person isn't there, there's a great space that's going to come up. Your participants are going to like it. So it would just be natural to mention it before the end of your space.
That's a really good point. And just coming to spaces, talking to people, introducing yourself, just like we're doing in this space here. It's an open house, chat and share, discuss what you're working on, what you're interested in. That gets people to know you. And that makes it so that they can drop your name in other spaces that you might not be in. Because I do that all the time. Somebody will mention something that they're working on or something that they're having a problem with. And I've met somebody in a different space that I think can help them or that I think would work well with them. And so I'll drop their name and I'll try to connect them. And that's kind of what makes this huge platform with, 500 or 50 million, active daily users or whatever it is, still like a small community sometimes. It is these spaces where we come together and we find these opportunities to network, to make new friends, to grow our accounts together, to grow our brands together, to cross promote. I like it. I think it's exciting. Yeah. And Aura, I feel like, is your hand up again or is it my computer? Because
no, but I did try to interrupt and then you were talking, so I stopped. So
no, interrupt me
I can
anytime,
add a
please.
thing. I'm going to add a thing. Yeah, I was going to say what you're saying about, people talking about you in spaces when you're not there. That's happened to me like a couple of times. I had a really big account that started following and engaging with me. And I'm like, why? And I finally DM'd them, why are you following me? Why are you like, this isn't your thing? And they told me, oh, I was in a space and they were talking about you and how amazing your content was. And I came over and you were, and I'm like, wow. And, like the thought that other people are talking about me when I'm not there seems so crazy to me. But I guess, yeah, definitely if somebody, and I do that all the time too, like you were searching for the dev name. Half the time I'm in a space, I'm like tick-tacking over here trying to find an account to let somebody know, oh, this person knows about the thing you're talking about or the issue that you're having and they can help. And that's community is what it is. I mean, that's where it makes that big platform. We form communities all over the place, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a community page. It can just be, your circle. But that is what social media is about. Fundamentally, to me, is these different communities with different purposes, and then helping each other further that and grow together. And I do see that Joe's hand's up, Rich.
Yeah. Joe, welcome to the speaker's stage, and it's good to see you. I think you changed your profile picture. Am I correct?
I did. And yeah, thanks for having a space. Caught it at a good time because I always love your guys' spaces. Very, very nice. But yeah, I changed my profile pic.
It looks good.
I don't. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm getting used to it still. And the funny thing is, I changed it, and I just put a picture of I have a beard. So like a lot of people I've changed the picture for are like, oh, you shaved. And I'm like, well, I did. But by the time I got the picture all moving along, it's like I got a beard again. So anyway, thank you. And yeah, I love the spaces, guys. One thing to notice that might have been added to spaces, there's a caret now by the mic. I don't know if that's been there the whole time, but I was able to select my mic before I came up, which was super nice to know that I could do that. I kind of wanted to just add in with what everyone was saying with the cross promotion and I found a lot of use with, just Luma Labs, like, for example, just posting about how cool they were and like all this stuff. Like they, reach out. They're like, I actually caught that it was in a spam email. They were like, do you want to be a part of this thing? And I caught it on the last day. I was like, yeah, this would be great. And then they like, I don't know, they hooked me up ever since. So it's like, just mentioning people, and I've got a few other, groups that have like reached out. Like there's this company NIM, not to drop names, but they've given me things, and it just mentioning their name is all they're asking for. So it's nice to collaborate like that. And I also wanted to add in, collaborating with is kind of difficult. I recently had one person I met through here. I think his name is like Legendary David, but he is from Nigeria. So like communicating back and forth was like so hard, and I was trying to do it, and it was just like I felt bad at the end because we couldn't really link up. And then I've found use in tutoring and doing things in your field that are what you're good at and what people are maybe interested. Like me, I do a lot of AI, so I've been asked, to help out, and I love helping out. So like, I try to offer free tutoring, but even like slightly paid, you end up collaborating with the people that you're working with. Like it's quite great to just see what someone else is working with and being like, hey, listen, I can help out with that because like I know how to do it. So, doing that. And then I was wondering what you guys thought of, like, I always feel weird like quote posting people, or like also I like recently I used I went off a YouTube video and I copied the YouTube video over. And I was like, in the link and in the comments, I put the YouTube video. But I was like, is this like the user never knew I promoted them? Do you think that that's like not okay, or is that?
No, it's totally fine. I would be,
just
I would
being
be happy about that. Yeah, you're not like putting the full video in there; you're just putting a link to it. That's totally fine, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't want to promote somebody that's not asking for it.
No, I think I think it would be in a position where they're like, I don't know why they would have a problem with it, and I would question why they would have a problem with it if you're just straight promoting them, with no expectation of getting anything back. Like, I don't know why you have a problem with it. I would have a problem with somebody having a problem with that.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. So I wonder that when I'm like, because it's like I'm promoting them because I'm like, this is 2 thumbs up. Like, go for it, everybody, help out. I feel like the things that I do that help me out will eventually like trickle off to people that need help. So yeah, so I just wanted to add in there, and that's kind of what I have on that.
So this NIM, I'm looking at it. I'm on their website. Are you having fun using it? It looks fun. It looks like
NIM,
they've got. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's the nim.video, I believe.
Yeah, and they've got a creative program for creators to give them like free grants that they can apply for, and it looks very interesting. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, I didn't want to promote like anybody that I didn't, like it basically somebody reached out, and I believe it was the person that created it, and they were like, check this out. And I was like, I'm always they're not scamming me first. So I will check it out.
Absolutely.
And it's like, they're not scamming me, I know, and like there's a lot of scamming out there, and like this started off with pretty like okay quality video. Like it was very, you had to like regenerate it a bunch, but now they have like, I think they have all of the new models out and everything. So I've been going to them, more frequently now. And yeah, so I've been enjoying it.
Nice. Yeah. And I was going to say, actually, Christopher, when you're talking about promoting somebody if they have a problem with it, like I did ask Green Man before I linked to his page in my bio. I was like, because somebody might look at that as he's endorsing me if I'm putting that there. And I wanted to make sure he was comfortable with that. I sometimes have people that are promoting me that I feel are scams. And so I don't feel really good about them trying to make it look like we're buddied up and, collaborating or anything, because they're shicey as fuck. Sorry for my F-bomb. So I do think that there are times where somebody might not want you, throwing your name out there all the time. But I think that if your intentions are good, you're probably 100% okay sharing somebody's stuff. But if you're going to be super overboard, like I tend to be, then you might want to check in and make sure you're not, making them uncomfortable, or they don't have a restraining order drafted already to get you to quit talking about them.
Yeah, there's certainly some middle ground there. I don't like it when people like constantly tag me, especially when it's with a group of other people, that do similar things to me. It's like,
or they're just like being a real super public sycophant and you don't even know who they are. Like if you're going on and on about how close we are, I will call you out on that right there in the post and say, hey, I don't know who you are. Or I've only spoken to you once, because I want to make it clear to my friends that I don't know who this person is. And the fact that they're making those claims means that that's a huge red flag. You should probably avoid
fishy.
this person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know you. Go ahead, Christopher. Sorry.
I ran into an issue with Brock. I think it was not like where I feel like I did, because like I was like, he just seems like a person you can kind of post some things. And I was like, I probably burned a bridge before it was there, because it was, I don't know, this silly content. And I'm like, I don't know this person. So it's like, maybe Brock? I shouldn't post. Yeah, with Brock.
He puts himself out there, so
yeah, that's what I feel,
Yeah, I did that video, the You're So Paid video, and I lifted all of his content without permission. And I threw it up, and then I was like, crap, he might not like that, because really I was just looking for one-liners, and I knew he was the king of one-liners. And I went in and he had some really good one-liners. So I did send him a DM after the fact, and he does still talk to me. He even reshared it. But I honestly had no idea what the reception was going to be. I thought that he might be offended by it, but he wasn't. That's because at his core, he hates the one-liners, I think.
Does he though?
I think that he does. I think that he's really upset that the platform hasn't grown beyond him. And I'm not saying that he doesn't do them, but I do get the feeling like, I think it's more of a tantrum. And well, screw it. This is the game that wins. So I'm just going to win at it. And I shouldn't speak too much on his behalf. But, when I think of one-liners, I do think of Brock. They are very much, in my mind, very married together. So...
And it's interesting that the users are maturing or growing up faster than the platform itself. Like if Brock is like lifting himself past that one-liner presence that he used to be. Because I mean, yeah, he definitely, what he was and how what he was like a year ago compared to how he is now is definitely different. But I think that's the story for all of us here on X, because I don't know, our experiences over the past year on X, whether or not it's been good, bad, how we've grown, the people we've met. And, we all kind of pivot a little bit here and there. So I don't know where I was really going with that. Sorry. Go ahead, Aura.
Well, that's okay, because earlier when you were talking about sharing what we've been up to, I was like, I've just done a hard pivot. I have been very regimented in what I do for the most part. I do my big morning post, and then I do some quote posts to my friends. I might do a medium or a short form. And that's what I've been doing in the spaces. And then I would do promotion of spaces. And then, I got hurt. Gosh, I think it was about a month ago. So I haven't been writing my little morning musings. And then I got hit upside the face with Grok one day because there was an article that Band-Aid ad that Brian Ramel had shared. And I was like, oh my God, Band-Aids are so bad. And I just learned this like 6 months ago. I'd done a day's worth of research on how bad Band-Aids are because of the chemicals that are in them. And I was like, I should write an article on that. And he was like, you should. And then I was like, I'm never going to write an article on that. I'm never going to redo that research. So I went to Grok and I said, hey, Grok, there's this stuff in Band-Aids. It's really bad. I looked it up like 6 months ago. Can you help me? It sourced it. And then it wrote a perfectly acceptable in-depth article. And then I said, dumb it down, for the casual reader, and boom, all in less than a half an hour, I had 2 pieces of content. I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I had a friend pass away. Well, she passed away a while ago. I just found out about last week. And, she was like my dream partner, right? And I want to be a writer. And even when I came to X, I've been building this account, but not talking about the things I wanted to talk about, which really is in-depth political articles, uncovering corruption, that type of thing. And that stuff is very time consuming. And I didn't feel that I was educated enough to be a responsible citizen journalist. And so I don't know, about a month ago, I was like, that's what I want to do when I grow up. So I'm going to take some classes and I'm going to learn about it. And it hit me. I don't need to do any of that. Grok will actually do that for me. Grok will help me do the research. I do have to verify everything, right? But then Grok will even tell me when I'm not being objective. Grok will tell me when I'm, as long as you ask it, it'll let you know. No, this isn't objective. You're not being fair and balanced with this reporting. You're skewing some facts. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at this week is like, am I even going to be doing what I've been doing? I don't know if I will. I think I'm going to use AI to do research and create articles. And it's a very different direction than where I've been. But, and I might lose some readers over it, but I don't think I will. I think that most of the people that follow me and really support what I've been doing are going to be just as excited to support what I go into.
Yeah, I don't think you'll lose anybody. Like, people are going to cheer you on. People are going to be excited for the pivot. Like, anything that you are driven to do, that is bringing you joy is going to be obvious in the work that you produce and that you share with us. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited, Aura. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I think most people don't follow content. They follow the person. And if they start making changes, I think most people will come along for that. And you'll probably get new people also.
Absolutely.
I think you're right, because the people that I follow, the content is what catches my interest, but then it's getting to know them over a period of time. So I think you're probably right on that, both of you.
Yep. And you're probably going to welcome Jeff. Were you going to welcome Jeff?
I was going to let you know that Jeff had his hand up. Yes, Rich, you are so on it.
Welcome, Jeff. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. And I wasn't really thinking of getting on the stage at all until Laura spoke up about her interests in writing political investigative reporting, journalism. And that fired me up because that is my wheelhouse. I am actually a qualified political ethicist. And the corruption that you were talking about, the thing that nobody seems to understand and that AI will not be able to help you with, is the fact that all of the corruption that we're all concerned about can be found rooted in the fact that we are not following proper ethics in this country. This is something that I would love to talk to you about in the back channels, Aura, and maybe collaborate on what you can do with that.
Exciting. And actually, Jeff, you might be surprised. I did a lot of research just the other day. Okay, so this is the other part that's happening, guys. I'm branching back out into Facebook. That's where my liberal folks are. And so I wrote a simple post about the attacks on Tesla and how this is being astroturfed. And I was able, with Grok, to actually go follow money trails and look at some receipts. We know not all of those are public, but I was able to do what would have taken me probably a month to research in the past in less than an hour, and have those facts, those receipts right there to hand people as they were screaming at me, calling me a Nazi and telling me I hated trans people. So yeah, that'll be exciting, Jeff. Can't wait to chat with you.
What an odd thing to say.
It's not odd. It's how it works now. That's what our political discourse has been. Propaganda and brainwashing have made it to where if you're not with us, you're against us. And then suddenly there's a whole bunch of labels that are assigned to you and opinions that are assigned to you because you're not stepping on the same line. Don't mean to hijack this and turn it into a political space, but that's very disturbing to me. And I do feel like part of my mission is to speak the truth and do it in an unbiased manner, because they have points on that side. I'm not saying the left is 1,000% wrong, guys. What I'm saying is that we don't just have right and left. The right and left is stupid to even put things down into such binary terms. You want to have 1,000 genders, we should have 1,000 political parties. There are so many points of view. And the way democracy works is we should have open, free discourse with free speech while respecting one another and arguing with integrity. And then we get to solutions. Then we get to agreements that build better communities, better nations, and a better world for everybody. So sorry I went on the rant.
You are totally fine. And Jeff, is your hand back up? Go ahead if it is.
No, it wasn't, because I am intentionally not allowing myself to get drawn into a political discussion and debate here. This is, like I said, this is a huge kind of passion thing for me. So, and I would phrase things differently, but I agree 100% with what Aura is saying, and I'm a centrist, hardcore centrist and constitutionalist, So, yeah, there is a lot that needs to be gotten out there. And it's really sad that the silent majority is still being silent, through all of this. We really are. But that's because we're not a specific party or group, and we just don't get organized and try and raise a voice like everybody else does.
Well, and it's scary.
So,
it's scary. You say something that doesn't fit within box A or box B, and you can be vilified, you can be canceled, you can lose your job, you can lose friends. I mean, it is scary to speak the truth. Kate, am I in trouble yet? Okay.
Not my space. I'm just a listener.
I think you're fine, Aura.
Distancing language.
I was going to say, I have a bit of armor that I wear for exactly what you're talking about. I just don't give a damn. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I try to, so I don't let them.
I do now because of what happened the last couple of years ago. And I didn't get loud. I mean, I did to an extent in public, but, I was on Facebook, wasn't on X. And I already knew if I said anything on Facebook, it was just going to be censored. So I didn't speak out about what I thought because I didn't have facts, but I knew bad things were happening. I couldn't tell you, say, this is why it's bad, this is why it's wrong, other than they are lying. That I could say unequivocally, I knew we were being lied to. And in hindsight, I wish I would have spoken out. It might have ended up badly for me, but I wish I had. And I made a New Year's resolution that 2 years ago that I am no longer going to self-censor. I am going to speak the truth. And, sometimes my truth might not be the truth and I might be wrong and then I'm going to be embarrassed and have to backtrack. But I'd rather do that than just sit silently by and not point out what I'm seeing so that other people can't, do research and prove me wrong or find out I'm right so that they can make better choices.
If there's ever a place to do it, it's certainly on X, because Elon has said that if you lose your job because of anything you said on X, they will go after them. And you're probably not going to get your job back, but you would get some, like compensation for that kind of thing. And it's more, it's bigger than that, right? It's bigger than your job. It's about, being able to say what you want and not being silenced.
Yeah, I agree. That's why, Aura, I think it's a good idea for you to do exactly what you spoke about. Start writing articles, get more political. If that's what you're passionate about, or if that's where you think your passion is headed, like do
Oh,
it.
no, that's where my passion actually has always been. The reason why I didn't do that when I came here was because I know that if you get political and you're a small account here, you're going to be attacked and botted, and nobody's ever going to see or hear from you again. I don't know if my account's grown large enough to where that won't happen, but I do know that under 500, unless, you know what I mean, Rich?
No, I totally know what you mean. And also, I don't think that the content that you produce is going to be like, what do you call it? Like, I don't think it's going to be like rage baiting type of content. I think you're going to come
rage baiting, but people are still going to get mad. They're going to get mad. I saw it on Facebook, just with me trying to explain that what Elon is doing is actually a good thing, basically. And like I said, like a friend that, we have been friends for like 20 years, just lost her mind and then said, oh, you're now anti-trans. And I haven't answered her yet because I'm not anti-trans, but I did start questioning. So she would definitely put me in an anti-trans box at this point, due to the fact that I know facts that she's not aware of. So it's, how do I get those facts to her without her shutting down and making me the enemy? Because they have told people, don't listen, don't look, it's illegal, it's immoral,
I don't know.
I was going to ask, is she not aware of these facts, or does she intentionally ignore them because they don't fit her belief system and her chosen view? That's my curiosity.
Jeff, I would guarantee she doesn't know the facts. Guarantee it, because I didn't know the facts 10 years ago. And so I was very passionate, and then some facts were laid down. It's like, oh crap. So you really, I know that this is probably inflammatory to say, but they are literally brainwashed. You ask, you put out a fact, and they kind of glaze over, and they have like a canned feedback response, and then you're a Nazi, you're a TERF, you're evil. And it's really sad to see. And
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay. I really didn't have more of a point other than it's sad to see, and I want to help fix it.
You're absolutely right about that. And to be honest with you, that brainwashing, that pre-programming, you can trace that all the way back to at least the introduction of television and advertising and marketing back then.
I was about to say Hollywood.
A lot of research. Yeah, I've done a lot of research. I think that most people are absolutely unaware that the advertising that we currently have, they had paid psychologists that went and studied cults. They literally studied cults, Jim Jones, drink the Kool-Aid, everybody commit suicide. And they did so because they wanted to know, how did these cult leaders make their followers love them so much that they'd be willing, they love them more than themselves. And then they translated that information in advertising. I swear to God, not making up, learned it in school and then fact checked it, because I don't believe much of what they taught me in school.
Well, that's a lot. There's a lot to unpack there.
So is there somebody else here that's doing something cool that they'd like to share or want to introduce themselves here on the collaboration station, where we talk about making content and
yes, please.
I did try to start a cult once, but it didn't work out.
Well, what platform did you try to start your cult on? Like, did you do it
right here on X? It was basically just like an art collective, but the thing with artists is that they're notoriously flaky. So
yeah, they don't want to join clubs. That's what I found about artists. They do not want to join clubs. Cool.
I think it's all about the messaging, right? If I'd have called it a collective, that probably would have.
Did you call it a cult?
I called it a cult.
True story. I joined a cult here on X. It was a funny cult, and I lost a friend over it. She got very upset that we were using the word cult in a joking manner, and I didn't start it. I just joined it. It was funny, but she got really upset because I guess she had, as a child had been in a cult, so she didn't like it. So maybe don't use the word cult.
Yeah.
I had to laugh many years ago. One of my best friends was listening to me yap about one of my many brilliant business ideas and stuff like that. At the time, I was actually explaining economics in really simple terms and relating it to farming. And at one point, he looks at me and he's, oh my God, I want to join your cult. And I was like, no, you can't. He said, but why? I said, because I am a cult of one. I cannot have followers and adherents. It's not allowed.
I love it. And Kate, I see Kate's hand is up. Kate, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. I'm
What's up,
enjoying
Kate?
the listening today. It's really good. But I was going to say, I think Christopher was successful in his cult. It's just a cult of two at the moment.
That's true. Yes, we're going to be the most insufferable cult, Kate and I.
Well,
Oh, we got a binary cult. Cool.
that exclusive. None of us losers can get in. It's just that exclusive, right?
Yeah, we have discussed that directly. Yes, no other third parties.
Well, hopefully you guys are cross promoting your cult with each other.
Yes.
Hey, I'll cross promote while we're here. On Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time, we will be hosting the Cluck community space. Our topic is the Linda Listen Linda campaign, which will be launching on Friday. I have not been doing my job. So if you already know about this, I know some of you down there do. If you have memes that you would like to contribute, that would be amazing and awesome. And basically, we're just throwing out some ideas of what we think would make X better, not just for the creator community and the curator community, but for the entire platform, the entire user experience. And we also want to get people to quit, crapping all over Elon. Like, it's not his job. He bought it. He bought it for 44 million. Leave the man alone. It's Linda's job. Linda is the CEO. Yeah. So you can DM me from maybe I'll put something down in the thing.
Yeah, please do. Actually, well, there's no chat bubble, no purple pill. It is above.
I know how to do it. Yeah.
No, I'm just letting everybody else know that's new to the space. Because of the way I launched the space, we didn't get the purple pill. So if you have something to share, please put it up there in the Projectotron. I pinned the space where you can kind of share your comments and stuff like that. And I want to welcome everybody who has recently joined the space. We're just kind of having a casual chat about whatever you want to talk about, as long as it's not too much of a hot topic. Hopefully no politics or anything like that. We've already kind of went into that area and we've come back from there basically unscathed, I think. So yeah, if you have anything to share, anything that you're working on right now, any projects for the future, any cool stories, anything that's been going on lately, feel free, request a mic, come up, chat with us. We'd love to have you. And Dori, I see you are back here with us. How's it going, Dori?
Could you guys hear me before at all?
No, not at all.
At the very beginning, but you cut out soon.
Okay.
After.
Yeah, I lost you guys too. And I couldn't tell that you guys couldn't hear, so I continued to ramble on. But anyway, and then I came back twice, closed the app down, came back twice, and it wasn't letting me hear anyone. So I thought, well, let's just give it a few minutes and maybe it'll end. So then I came back and it was working. So I'm very grateful. Loving this conversation. I was just mentioning that, Kate, do you remember your space on Sunday when it was Chris's poll? What do we do without X? Start a cult? Okay, so I started a community yesterday, Weird Art Time. And weird is trending today. So I'm super excited anyway, because we've just had a lot of artists sharing weird art. Or you're probably correct. Artists are a little hesitant about communities, cults, groups, whatever, because artists, I guess, have kind of sort of always been going their own way, right? Anyway, so I started that community. It's been really fun. It's been really cool. We also share our AI art mistakes, those generations that get thrown out that are just absolutely crazy or weird, have nothing to do with your prompt, or they have extra legs or ears, or their fingers are fused together.
We can share that in
There's
your
6 of them.
community.
Yes, please. We laugh our butts off about AI oopsies. Seriously. And then we make comments about it. So it's kind of like it becomes the picture's funny, it becomes a running joke, what's going on here? Well, and so there's 48 now, I think. So I'm looking in here. I don't think I have anyone from here in there yet. But anyway, you're all welcome. And some of us make weird art on purpose, and then we share that too. But we also like the bloopers. They're super fun. So love it. Love it, you guys. Love this
I love the
space.
bloopers, just so you know. Like that is one of my favorite parts working with AI. Is all the crazy stuff that gets generated. Like I am telling you, I will crack up laughing so hard. I laugh more when I'm working with AI, working on a music video, than I think I do like listening to a good stand-up comedy skit. Like I'm not joking. Like I will be in here in my office by myself, just cracking up, and like, yeah, it's hilarious. So I'm excited that you started that community. I did join it. Time for weird art.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. It is spotlighted on Dori's profile. If anybody is interested, just go to her profile, check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. I'm looking at it right now, so I'm excited to share
Let
some
me
of my
just tell you
rejects.
about one picture. People got inspired the other day too to start creating art with song lyrics. It's something I've been doing for a few weeks, and so somebody grabbed onto it and they did a whole like all day Sunday. These people were back and forth with song lyric stuff. Well, the one picture in the group in the weird art time is from Come On, Feel the Noise. And it's a ballroom, but the doors are shut. And the woman has her face smashed against the door. So I guess she was trying to feel the noise through the. So, yes, I crack up over the oopsies all the time too, by myself, howling with laughter. So somebody said, we need a storehouse of a place to put these. And I thought, well, there, Dori, start a community. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it.
Of course, I love it. And thank you for coming to the space. Thank you for sharing. And please stay as long as you have. I'm going to welcome David to the space. David, I don't think we've ever spoken before. How's it going? What brings you here? And please feel free to introduce yourself and share a little bit about what you're working on and what you're about. Hello, David.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Aura brought me here. Aura probably doesn't even know who I am, but I'm sort of following her.
I remember you, David. I remember you.
Okay. Well, I can talk about cults. Is that an okay topic?
Yeah, we can go back there for a little bit. Let's not get too into it.
I have a deep interest in cults, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I grew up in what I would call a cult. And the problem with cult is it means like a few things. It could mean like a cult following. And then if you look back at the original meaning. And so a part of the issue I think happens is in common usage and then confusing when you say cult, like what exactly does it mean? And the second thing I would want to say is like maybe like 15, 20 years ago, I joined like a group on Facebook where I found ex-cult members, and we had this great big group where we commiserated and worked out all the shit and trauma. And I remember somebody coming on and making a post and saying like, "Happy Sabbath." And I was so angry because there was nothing happy about Sabbath, right? And they thought it was a joke, right? And so when I heard Aura talk about losing a friend, sometimes like when it comes to humor, and this is just a theory of mine, is that if you haven't healed enough or there's still a lot of pain, then it's hard to find humor, right? Whereas if you have distance from it or you didn't experience it, then it's easier to laugh. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that humor is super triggering to people, and especially people like, okay, I'm going to shut up. I don't want to make it political. I'm just going to say some of the memes, they're not effective for winning anybody over.
No, yeah, some of the memes just make people mad. I mean, memes contain like 1,000 words, but they can say 1,000 different things to 1,000 different people. So, yeah. Dori, is your hand back up?
No.
Okay.
Well, you should talk anyways. She should talk anyways because she had to wait so long to get up here.
Aura, I just love you. You know, I love glasses, and I've gotten contacts before, but I've actually had like my best friends from junior high that I'm still friends with go, Dori, you know what? For you, glasses are an accessory. I think you should ditch your contacts and go back to glasses. So I just wanted to always tell you, Aura, that I absolutely love your glasses. And I think it's so fabulous that you wear glasses. And anyway, and humor, you know, is the greatest thing. It's one of the greatest gifts besides love and passion, right? Humor is spectacular. So thanks.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Oh, Aura, were you going to respond to Dori? Sorry.
I was, if that's okay.
Of course.
I was going to say, thank you, Dori. Yeah, I did contacts and I never really liked them much. And then I went to America Best Something Glasses once and I got to get 2 pairs. So I had my usual, serious pair and then I got a fun pair. And that was just amazing. I mean, having a fun pair of glasses. So then I discovered buying glasses online and now I can get like 4 pairs for less than what 1 pair is with insurance. So I have a lot of fun glasses. I enjoy them and they're just a part of who I am. Like I love my glasses. And as far as humor, you're absolutely right. I love humor. I do love humor. But we should be aware that sometimes when we're using humor, and especially if we're targeting people with humor, I've never enjoyed humor that's at another person's expense. How's that? And I have a very dark sense of humor. That's one of the things, if it doesn't kill you, laugh at it. So I will make a joke at a funeral. And sometimes they go wrong. Sometimes I've inadvertently hurt somebody's feelings, but I do try to be really careful with my humor and consider if it's really going to hurt somebody else, because I don't want to laugh at somebody else's expense. On the other hand,
I agree with that too.
Yeah. On the other hand, with memes, you can really you can cut through a lot of BS and get down to a core truth, make it funny, make it viral, and wake a bunch of people up. So yeah, I'm still learning that art.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I was
yeah.
gonna say, yeah, memes have that power. It's just like the comic strips, from the newspapers back in the day. Well, I mean, I guess newspapers are still around. People do still read the comics. And then like in the Civil War, what they did, like the caricatures and stuff like that. I mean, so memes have kind of been around for a very long time. They've just evolved into something much, much different now.
I'm
Internet's
going to
around.
take this opportunity. Jeff's hands up so that you know, but I do want to take this opportunity because you brought this up. One of my people that I subscribe to that's one of my favorites is Scott Adams. And if you don't know who he is, he did the Dilbert comics that all got canceled because he posted something on X that was actually factual, but the mainstream media decided he was racist. And I don't think he's a racist at all, but he does daily strips. So he does every day. You get, as a subscriber, you get last year's, or it's like he'll pull something out from 10 years ago and put it back up. And so you'll see like just how on point it was. And then he'll do what he calls a reboot. So he'll do an old strip with today's topics kind of over it. And they're freaking hysterical. I love my Scott Adams. And yeah, and Jeff's hands up.
Yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that somebody had brought up the point, about Dori's, or I think Dori brought it up, the point about creating the community as a repository. And what I was thinking, and is tied into the talk about the memes too, is that those can both be turned into NFTs real easily. And there is a way to keep a permanent copy or record of some of those oopses and some of those really classic memes, that kind of thing. Just something to think about there. But I also wanted to ask a quick question, since you guys are talking about it. Do you have to be Premium Plus on X in order to launch a community? That's something I've been trying to figure out.
I know you have to be premium. I don't know if it's Premium Plus. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I mean, before they had Premium Plus, I was able to start a community. So I don't know if that's just something they shipped it over or not. I've had it for a while, so I don't know.
Yeah, if anybody's listening and you have a premium account and you want to test it and see if you're able to just launch a community just to test it out and let us know, we'd appreciate it. Chris, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to mention on the NFT thing, just one of the things to remember is NFTs don't actually store the bits of the NFT on the blockchain. They just store the ownership. So that's one of the caveats with all these NFTs is if the bits of the original disappear, they're gone.
I never thought about that before.
Talking about
Yeah, they don't actually put the bits of your image on the blockchain because that would be really expensive.
Hey, Chris, may I DM you? I need a short primer, I guess we could call it, on NFTs. I'm not very familiar with it. I've got some NFT accounts following me. I've seen some artists selling NFTs. Could I just DM you, or could you I think we follow each other. Could you DM me with a little bit of information, like pretend I'm 5, right? And you need to explain NFTs to me. That'd be fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue in this room, Rich is probably more of an expert than I am. I know a gentleman that actually sells a lot of his art as he does glitch art, which is actually like photos of broken LCD screens. And he's been actually selling NFTs of that. So I know people that know quite a bit about it. I'm tangentially into the community. I think, Rich, though, you actually sold NFTs, haven't you?
No, I have sold NFTs, but just because I sell it doesn't mean I necessarily know how they work.
Yeah, no, I can give you what I know. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah,
Thank
Dori,
you.
there's a few platforms right now where artists can join and they can share their work as NFTs, whether it's videos, images, comic strips, whatever media you're producing, you can mint it into an NFT on these platforms such as Drip and Rad TV and some others, and you can sell it as NFTs. And I did do that for a few weeks and I made decent money at it. It is a lot of work though. It's a lot more work than what I realized it was going to be, partly because the user interface, I think, of one of the platforms is a little convoluted and hard to work with. And so if that were to improve, it would be a little bit easier. But no, there's definitely money to be made there. You have to work at it. You know, nothing comes easily, of course.
No, nothing ever does.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, and I'm willing, I can send you a DM and share a couple of those sites with you so you can check them out.
Perfect. Thank you. I'd really appreciate that. So there's a lot of art contests too on X, right? And so there was one that I found out yesterday. This particular one runs one contest a week, and if you're one of the 10 artists selected, they display your piece in their online gallery for like a week. And so I'm just wanted to share that I was selected for the first time I won a first art contest yesterday. So that way it was a little one, but it's so thrilling to me. You know, you get those little bumps of enthusiasm from little things like that, and don't be afraid to try, right? Because I submit, and it's not always going to hit, right? But when it happens, it's super cool. So that happened to me yesterday, and I loved it.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Like, yeah, no, when those moments happen, it's like validation. It's like, oh my God, I'm not the only one who thinks my art is great. No,
I
I
won a
love
little
it.
art contest. You like me. You really, really will like my art. No, anyway.
Exactly. And I wanted to say, I see that Money Miller has joined the space as a listener down there. He also creates his artwork and puts it out there as NFTs. So check out his page. He knows a lot about this as well.
Can I just say how jazzed I am that the moment that Cate is no longer in the driver's seat, we have a conversation that goes from politics to cults to NFTs.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the natural order of things on X, isn't it? You really have to fight against it.
See, it all falls apart, honey, when you're not in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be probably leaving. Like I'm gonna be on the road soon, so I may cut out or whatever. So if you call on me, I might not hear it. So just an FYI. But
We've
thank
been
you guys.
waiting for you to leave so that we could totally burn it down. Like we had this whole plan before you came in.
Aura, I'm an ex-punk. I want it all to burn down all the time. So
okay, yeah.
That's good. Okay, because we're getting into the I'm just asking questions part of the discussion.
Okay. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better. There's like you say things like that. I'm like, really? I was so punk. Yeah. Anyways.
You do have kind of that air about you. Or, when I look at your profile picture, I think like the club kids from New York.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. No, I booked, managed, and promoted punk bands. But I was like so punk that I didn't have the tattoos and I didn't wear the clothes from Hot Topics or wherever. And, because I don't follow trends. I just don't. Like there are several times in my life I had like a look and then somehow it became trending like other people were doing it. And it was like, oh, time to change my wardrobe around. I can't look like other people. It just doesn't work.
Me too.
Aura. The first time I ever saw your PFP on here, Aura, the very first thought that went through my head was the Kinks.
Yeah, I love your PFP, Aura. I like your brand, and I know it's just your look, but it's also like your brand because it's pretty recognizable. With your blonde bobbed hair and your glasses and your lipstick and everything. It's almost iconic, I want to say. So yeah, you're doing good. And I think that's why I did like my Silver Dude character because it is like my brand, and I do kind of want to put my real profile picture up there like JoeProAI has done with his. But I don't want to lose that silver dude character, that I can use in my stuff. And he'll still be up there in my banner. I did actually change my profile banner, and I included like a silver dude in there. So maybe that's like my first step to actually putting my real picture as my profile picture. I don't know. Anyway, so just kind of thinking out loud.
So you can do it in stages, right? So keep the background, get some actual aviator sunglasses, and that'll be the first step. And then the second step is without the sunglasses. And then the third step is, you've got the silver guy kind of like looming behind you.
I like it. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll probably, because I do like taking baby steps anyway. When I originally changed from like my old branded account of Collect Silver, that's how I did it, is like I changed my name first, and then I waited like a week and a half, and then I changed my profile photo, and then I waited like a week and a half, and then I changed my handle, and then it was complete. And I see that Money has his hand up. Welcome to the Space Money. How you doing, man?
Hey, good. I'm actually on the road as well, so I may cut in and out, but hopefully it'll remain I'll keep connection. It's funny. I think I went the opposite direction. I started with my real picture because I didn't realize coming over to X that everybody was an animated character most of the time. And then I kept getting flack from the NFT community, like, hey, man, you need to change yourself to an animated character. So I ended up doing that when I released the Alien collection. Just wanted to jump in on the NFT piece real quick. So there are a multitude of platforms that offer NFTs. It's really based on the blockchain associated with that platform. So, for example, Drip House is based on the Solana blockchain. So you're releasing NFTs through Drip House in Solana specifically. There's also Base, Ethereum, XRP. I mean, there's just every blockchain kind of has a platform and an outlet, or multitude of platforms and outlets for NFTs. A couple of things to take a look at. OpenSea is probably one of the larger marketplaces for NFTs, so I definitely recommend looking at OpenSea because they support a multitude of different blockchains, which I think at this point there's probably like 10 that offer non-fungible tokens or NFTs. But at least with Drip House specifically, it's a bit of a different platform than traditional ways of selling NFTs. So normally if you're doing an NFT collection and you release it, you're going to pay a gas fee, which is essentially you're paying whatever crypto it is to actually release that collection. You set a price that your people have to mint at. So for example, I would set a price, I'd call it, half a Solana, which is probably expensive. I think that'd be like $80 to mint a single version of that NFT. And then people come in, mint that NFT. It generates a smart contract, and essentially you're selling that piece of artwork to that person. And then on Drip House, it's a little different because the primary source of income or revenue is based on donations to a specific artist, as opposed to like more standard, like, hey, I'm going to set a price for it, because Drip House sets the price at, they call drops. So it's 10 drops to secure a specific piece, which essentially is equivalent to like 10 cents. But then people donate to you and thank you for releasing things. And then once you get a following and people have thanked you or donated to you, you'll release rares, legendaries, and ultimates to those specific people who will then continue to donate, and you continue to grow following and income and revenue. That said, now I forgot where I was going with that. So that's a little bit more non-standard. There's also a few now that have come out, like Rodeo, where there's no cost associated with minting. So you can just go out and put it out there for free, and then people can come in. And I think that's based in Ethereum, if either Base or Ethereum. So you can actually put NFTs out there, and then people pay to mint it, but you don't have any gas fee or price to actually release that. So there's a lot of nuance between the different blockchains and cryptos on like what the approach is to actually release those NFTs. And the one other part that I think is different from Drip House, from traditional markets, is the traits and attributes associated with NFTs. So when you're looking at like rares, legendaries, ultimates, on a lot of the other chains, when people release collections, that's all based on the traits. So you'll generate, call it 1,000 different NFTs in your collection, and then have traits that are associated with this. So in PFP style, it's a lot like, all right, I've got, the background, I've got, are they wearing glasses? Are they wearing a hat? What's the color? All those type of things become attributes associated with that NFT, where that's more traditional style across the chains. Where Drip, I've found that a lot of people do not put attributes on and skip that for the majority of the part. So there's a little bit of a difference between like how you approach uploading and tagging things in that versus other platforms. So sorry if I was a little all over the place, just kind of a lot to digest.
Dude, you were great. Like, I knew that you had the answers. Yeah, money knows what he's talking about. He's smart and he's really into this. Yeah, and you're right about how the different platforms work and how there's so many different platforms out there that's available. I need to try some of those others because I've only spread out to Rad and Drip. And Drip is really cool, you know. Like I said, I've released 3 collections on Drip, and I think that was over the course of like 6 weeks, I want to say, and I made like $150. I mean, so there's money to be made for sure. So yeah, I like that, Chris.
Yeah, I think I'm close to 1,000 at this point over the past 4.5 months.
Yeah, I need to get back. I stopped doing it because it is a little bit there's a little more work.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Yeah, it is a lot of work. Chris, I see your hand up.
Does that all make sense to you?
Oh, go ahead, Christopher.
Dori, does that all make sense? That was directed at Dori, right? Does that all make sense to you, Dori?
Yeah, did you take notes, Dori?
That's a lot of information.
Yeah, I was thinking money needed to, like, I don't know, write an article or post for us because I couldn't follow all those steps at all.
And money does have a lot of information out there for people to use. He has a spreadsheet with like all these different links to services, NFT websites, AI tools, music generation tools, music mixers, just all sorts of stuff. Yeah, follow Money if you are interested in any of that stuff because he is full of all sorts of great advice. Go ahead, Money.
Yeah, I can definitely try to do a write-up on that when I have an opportunity.
Yeah, that'd be a good article. And then Chris, I see your hand up.
Oh, I was just going to say for Dori, one of the things to be warned about with NFTs is it is overly complex right now, which is why it's a niche. Until there is just a set platform where it says, here's your crypto wallet, here are the things you can buy, here are the things you can sell, it's really going to be a lot of noise. There are people making virtual money off of it. You know, and obviously that's somebody's gig, but I think it's got a ways to go before it actually gains any traction with normal people. Because I mean, it's one of those things to own an NFT. It's another thing to let anyone even know that you own it or prove that you own it, right? Because there's so many different places that you could quote unquote own a piece of, you know. I don't even know if there's any monitoring going on right now. Can I sell the same NFT on 3 different exchanges? Who?
Yes, you can. And no, that's not being, yeah. Because that was actually when I was onboarded onto one of these platforms. That was one of the first questions I asked was, is there any sort of exclusivity to, you know, and they were like, no, it's how it works.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can turn around and sell Aura as an NFT. She probably wouldn't know or couldn't stop you. That's one of the glitches about the market until, you know, it's one of those things that I think until there's some kind of general, well, that's the other part that I said too, is, you know, just because you have an NFT, and I don't know, I can't speak for all these exchanges, but unless there's some kind of like, you know, buried bunker offshore or in orbit or something that's going to hold the bits for your NFT, what do you actually own? You know what I mean?
That's why if you want to get into NFTs, make them and sell them. Make money with them more than collect them, I would say. But then if there's no collectors who's buying, then yeah. No.
I have a bad habit in collecting. I've got like 13,000 at this point.
Oh my gosh. Are you ever going to look at any of those?
I actually have them displayed. So I have a 47-inch monitor connected to my computer that I have online virtual gallery, and I rotate pieces in and out.
Nice.
As you do, yes.
Yeah, and Dori, when we say it's a lot of work, like I know we're stuck on NFTs a lot, but I just want to say, like, for you to launch a collection on like Drip or whatever, it takes like, I want to say at least a couple hours to get it all uploaded and posted and minted and everything like that. And then obviously you have to create your work too. And you want to, I don't want to just like generate some AI images and put it out there. I want it to be something good that I'm proud of. And then he talked about how like there's rares and legendaries and ultimates. And basically what that is like how many of each are you allowing to be minted? So like if you're only allowing 50 copies of this image or whatever to be minted, then that's like, you know, legendary. And if there's only like 2 of them, that's like ultimate. Anyway, so that's probably enough of the NFT talk.
Yeah, I'm in R&D stage of the NFT thing right now. And so I appreciate what I have picked up from you guys this morning. And that's probably all I need for now. So thank you.
It's a lot.
We've successfully scared her away. That's perfect.
Oh, I don't scare easily. That's one of my superpowers, actually.
And I got to jump for work time, so I'll catch y'all later. Appreciate you hosting.
It was good to see
Bye,
you,
Money.
Money.
Thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
Good to see you,
Always
sir.
a pleasure. And Dori, I'll hit your DM as well when I get a chance.
And
Thank you.
Chris, sir, please go ahead.
Is the audio glitching out? Really? Do I need to do a lap here?
I don't
I'm
hear
getting
anybody glitching.
a little fuzz, but not much.
I think it's you, Christopher.
All right. Here,
I was going to say, so I actually got pulled into a startup back in 2017 that was looking to do some stuff with blockchain. And I mean, not to offend anyone that's in the room, I haven't seen many valid uses of blockchain implemented. I've seen a lot of speculative, imaginary stuff that people like to go hog wild over. But I did, for a bit, see a very valid use for blockchain in the Medicare space. There's a huge gap in transparency and openness around who has received what where. And it's to the point that it prevents claims from being processed. And so there was a medical startup that I had been part of for a bit that collapsed, as most do in the crypto space, that was going to look to try to put some of the stuff onto a blockchain so that you could just verify that an individual had received something or hadn't received something. I do think that there is a huge opportunity especially with the new administration not being anti-crypto, if they were to create a blockchain not around cash, but a blockchain specifically around things like the Copyright Office, around the medical field, and all of those things, such that they could actually do these transactions on a non-fungible chain around things like copyright. I think that would be huge for the rest of the market. And once that happened, then I think you could see some of these things start to cascade, if you will. Once I can prove that I have a copyright on a piece of work and I can sue you in a court of law, then yes, I can turn around and sell it. I mean, right now, buying an NFT is a bit like buying a bridge, right? I mean, somebody can say this is my work and you can believe them, but you don't really have anything that gives you any kind of definitive proof other than the exchange. And again, not to rain on people's parade, people are innovating in this space, but I've looked at it a couple times because there's a lot of things I think around copyright and all that we could actually solve a lot of problems if this was done right, but we're just not there yet.
Well, I find all of this incredibly boring because there's so many scams that I'm not interested in playing. But if anybody ever does create and sell an NFT of me, and if it gets really popular, one of you guys need to let me know so that I can sue them, because I'm pretty sure I'd be able to get some of their profit for using my image.
We were going to cut you in, Aura.
Oh, okay. Then go ahead, I guess. But I'm not going to do anything with it or shill it or endorse it.
I actually have been doing, I thought about, the only time I've thought about buying an NFT, there's a gentleman that does frog NFTs, fly frogs, and I have printed, he wants to get into toys and he's made some models. I have some models up on Etsy that were his, that I licensed, and he's actually points people at me. I just sold some bat frogs at his behest. So, I mean, and again, I know a guy who does glitch art. It's a valid field, but again, the warning I will tell you is it's great for making money, but if you actually want to buy NFTs, the ownership is one of those things that you're going to have to figure out what you actually own.
Yeah, because I feel like you're not really owning the artwork or the content. You're just kind of owning that chain of custody or whatever. I don't know enough about it. I just know that I create artwork and I mint it and people buy it to collect.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to be negative, but the quote unquote art collecting and trading I've seen, it feels a bit more like crypto money laundering than it does actual curation and ownership. But that's
No, I've thought about that. Yeah, I've totally thought about that. And it's almost like you're just making money out of thin air. And then there's this whole thing where like on the Drip platform, they were talking about having people burn their NFTs to earn money because it's going to like free up space on the Solana chain. I don't know. I don't understand any of it. Joe, please go ahead, save me.
I just had a quick question. I don't know as much about NFTs and all of that. It's interesting, but I was wondering, Chris, if I had this thought at one point with 11 Labs and how they can clone voices and that technology. And I was thinking of how that it could be incorporated into like a blockchain type thing. And it seems like there's like something there, but is that something that I guess could be done in a sense, or is it through these platforms that you go through to encrypt your own voice in the blockchain, which isn't technically happening. Would you know any more about that? I'd be interested mainly just to see some of your information on NFTs, because that sounded interesting.
Well, so I mean, the problem is NFTs are derivative of crypto, and my story was we had looked at this around 2017. Ethereum had started the whole token thing, and you guys may remember CryptoKitties, which I believe was one of the first NFTs that was out there. The long and the short of it is, crypto popped. To this date, the only crypto that I own, I had a VC hand me a Litecoin circa 2017. It was probably worth about $100 at that point. That's the only crypto I've ever received. It's worth more now, and I moved it around for fun, but it's just a shell game. I haven't actually treated it as real money. The problem with this is that everything's based on a given blockchain. This is where the complexity, where your head starts to spin. There's a given blockchain that's tied to a given token. The problem is the tokens themselves tend to be worth money. So you got to do something and the token gets popular and then you can't afford to do it. Anyway, we were looking at doing something practical with blockchain, but we had only the blockchains that were there. And Ethereum at that point, one of the very popular things that happened, and there's probably better crypto history. First of all, if you go to spaces right now, there's 12 other spaces talking about crypto. That's really what we want to do. But the long and the short of it is, CryptoKitties came out. It got real popular. It basically crashed the whole system because it couldn't handle all the processing that was required with how popular it got. And it was one of those things that told us really soon that this was not ready for prime time, at least at that point. There's been different really convoluted things around going from proof of work to proof of stake that have made things a little bit more feasible doing this. The long and the short of it is, if we could fix crypto and we could get a token that didn't have intrinsic value, that was just a blockchain, it could be used, and it could be backed by a number of governments and used for a lot of really valuable things. The problem being that for whatever reason, people have confused the value of a blockchain with the value of a given token. And so the notion that a token itself is worth something inevitably will, if you need to spend a certain amount of something to do something, and that something gets out of range to be able to do it, you heard talks about gas and all that. It gets really convoluted. But if any transaction to do things in and out costs you a certain amount of money, you're just not going to use it. And that, this is where we are with Visa and why X payments would be of value, is once the transaction fee gets past a certain amount, you stop moving stocks around if it costs you $10 to do a trade. You stop moving crypto around if it costs you $20 to do a trade back and forth. And I think it's the two biggest problems crypto has right now is authority and accessibility. And I think those are going to take some wide scale adoption. Might change. I know the last administration was very anti-crypto. The current administration is probably only pro-crypto because they're anti the last administration. But we'll see if there's a new chain that's brought up that can fix some of these problems, that's detached, if you will, from the financial aspect of it. Blockchain is a really cool technology. It has a lot of hurdles to get past before it's useful. Right now, it's kind of a shell game, and I just roll my eyes every time I see some of the stuff. I got into it because I wanted to do contract programming, which is a whole other ball of wax. But I'm kind of one of those people that, with the gold rush, I would rather sell you your denim and your shovels than be the one actually digging for gold. That's kind of my MO.
Yeah, thank you for your insight on that. I was not to drag the conversation into NFTs because, again, don't know much about it, but that is cool. I follow you. A lot of stuff you do is neat. But I guess I'm going to jump down. And I did want to mention that the one thing I have been working on is my website, which JoeProAI. It's just a cool thing I've been working on. And it's out there, and I'm going to try to do something with it. So I don't know. That should be fun. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for the space. You guys always put on a good show. And I don't know. Cheers to everybody.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for coming. And we always love having you here and joining us to speak. And I'm on your website right now, checking it out. It looks good. I like the colors. I immediately like the colors. Yeah, everybody check out JoeProAI. And it looks like we are going to be wrapping up in about 20 minutes here. So if anybody has anything that you wanted to add, it's just kind of been an open conversation today. We've talked about a lot of different things. And really quickly, Christopher, mic check. We've had some issues. Are you here with us, sir?
I am here. I'm ready to commune with you.
Okay. Okay,
And
good.
I can see by the
we've had,
laughing that Cate's here, so we can't start partying yet. Dang it.
Oh man. It's like the surprise party, except we're waiting for the guest of honor to leave.
I hear Cate loves the idea of surprise parties.
Well, we'll have to have one for her one of these days, but I feel like you're being sarcastic.
I don't know what gives you that impression.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting conversation today. We've talked about NFTs, we've talked about cults, we've talked about politics, we've talked about cross promotion. So there has been some collaborative discussion going on. But if anybody has any sort of last minute thoughts, ideas, if you just want to come up and shill a project that you've been working on, feel free, share it with us. You can put it up there in the Jumbotron. You can share it to the space chat, which is up there in the Jumbotron. Again, another glitch that we've had today. But yeah, it's been a really good space. I just wish the X would fix all these glitches, especially when you're hosting spaces from a computer. Because like I've had this deal where like speakers' profiles are bouncing around, and I've heard people talking about that on like Apple before on their iPhones and stuff, but I've never experienced that before, and I've never experienced it on computer before. But that's been happening a lot where like your profile pictures are bouncing around on me, which is really weird. And then like I can't see who's speaking, like the icon won't drop away, so it won't show me who's speaking at the time. And then up there in the Jumbotron, I can't scroll left or right.
Is anybody right here else hearing the glitchiness, or is it just me?
Yeah.
Working out.
It sounds great. He's like 1,000 leagues under the sea.
Funny, he's talking about glitches. It's just like computer voice.
Yeah, I do look forward to a day when the features of X are in a more functional, user-friendly state. I'm not holding my breath because I think it's going to be a minute or two. But yeah, hopefully we'll get there. What else could we talk about while Rich is incapacitated?
So I can speak to some cross promotion I did with brands before, if that's something people would be interested in.
Oh, Cindy has her hand up. We could let Cindy talk. Hi, Cindy.
Hello, Miss Beautiful Aura, Rich, and Christopher, and Cate, everybody in the room. I just really enjoy listening to the different collaboration ideas, and I'm still trying to figure out what direction I want to go as far as content creation on X and playing around with different ideas. I've had an account on X back since 2009, and obviously bounced on and off through the years until last year when I jumped in wholeheartedly. Came here because of the massive censorship that was going on at Facebook. I couldn't even pray for people or say anything supportive about politics, right? About our current president, who I love. So everything, like, they was shutting me down right and left. I would post anything and it was like, oh, this goes against our content violation. I'm like, seriously? How does that go against anything? So I got frustrated, left, came to X, jumped in 100%, got monotonized really quick at some other people's, just encouragement. Hey, go for it. And like the week before I was monotonized, they changed to I think it was about a week before, they changed to the whole from the ad revenue to the engagement revenue.
Creator sharing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that has been like a crazy wild ride. But it's also exciting at the same time. So there's been some up and downs and, positive and yet disconnect at the same time. So I enjoy coming on these spaces, specifically trying to figure out, just different ideas to what I want to do as far as AI. I'm an extremely creative person, but a lot of my creativity is more hands-on. I used to be a photographer. I'm getting ready to do a lot of yard projects. So whether or not I want to video some of that and maybe take some of those videos and do something creative with them, I don't know yet. In the long run, I'm kind of like Aura in the sense that I love to write, and I've got several different writing projects going. Eventually, I want to publish a couple of books, but obviously you need to build a platform to sell the book to once it's done, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing. I love getting to know so many people. And yes, you go to my profile and it says I'm a preacher. I do preach, but I am a very down-to-earth person. I just love people in general, love all kinds of people, love meeting new people, learning about what they like, what makes different people tick. So nice to meet everybody here and hear your ideas. And yeah, if you got some cool ideas or something for me, and I'm open to hearing what you got.
Thank you, Cindy. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I think I'm still rugging a little bit, but I got most of that. And I just want to say thank you for speaking. Sorry if I didn't see your hand. Again, space glitches. Christopher or am I sounding okay?
You
You
sound
sound
wonderful.
fab.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's been happening all day. And, at least that's the good thing about when you're glitching and you're rugging. When other people are speaking, you kind of know it's happening because it sounds like they're rugging, but actually it's you or me.
It's
rugging.
the perfect system.
Exactly, right? Yeah, anybody have any closing thoughts? Christopher or Cindy, anybody up
I
here?
wanted to say something about what Cindy was. Well, it's directly to Cindy, but it's also to my younger self, I guess. When you first come here and you're trying to figure out what content you want to make and branding and all of that, I think that if I had to do it all over, all that stuff's just come. I play around with crap, whatever. But really, I would have focused more on building the one-on-one relationships, one person at a time. I wouldn't have been rushing to hit 500 followers. I would have been just going out and seeing who is a good person that I want to meet and support today. And yeah, of course, growing my audience, I would want them to maybe like my stuff, but I would be so much more invested into finding the kind of quality people that are in this room rather than, you know what I mean? Doing that rush and getting all excited because somebody tagged me, and rather than who is it that just tagged me, and getting all these people to follow me. Yeah. So I really think that if you just share with passion and purpose and you're being authentic about it, you can do that in a couple of lines. You can do that with a nice image or an AI created thing. It isn't really going to matter as long as you're being authentic and you're sharing with that passion and purpose. And absolutely play around, because different people, their eye is going to get caught by different things, right? So somebody might be really into video or podcast. Other people are really into, art images, and other people don't care about any of it. They're just looking for words. I really am a word girl. So, but most importantly, I think that, I'm just looking for nice people, period. Nice people that are trying to make the world better in whatever capacity they have, even if that's just improving your personal life in some way. That was all.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I am a very wordy person too. Everybody tells me you use way too many words, Cindy. Cut it down. And so I just
see, don't listen to those people.
Right. But I must say, I am starting to embrace the challenge of learning how to condense things into a smaller, sticky, and it is a challenge,
Oh, it's really easy, Cindy. Should I tell you the secret? Throw it into AI. That's what I do. I would never be able to get down to the core truth. So I'll take a big long thing, give it to the AI, and I'll say, okay, find me 5 nuggets here. And then now turn it into a 1 or a 2 line statement that really gets home that. And so I do that. And yeah, if you want to grow, you want people to see you with this algorithm. One-liners work better than anything else. So that isn't even I call it a cheat, but it isn't. It's just reality. But you still should write the long form stuff. When I put the one-liners out, people come see my long wordy stuff.
Right. That's how I get to a lot of your longer form stuff now. I see your one line in the for you. So, or on my list.
Yeah, you kind of have to be strategic with it. Or what was your term?
The Trojan horse method.
The Trojan horse, that's it.
That's it. And so for those of you who have not heard the term, when you're doing long form content, and I've found from talking to video people, it doesn't work as well for video, but it seems to work for long text, articles, you take and quote post your content with a one-liner above. And even just, can you see this or have you seen this, will get you into the For You. It's ridiculous. And then the other way I do it, just to mix things up sometimes, doesn't seem to be as effective, but is still going to get you more views, is do the one-liner and then I will add a link in the comments to whatever long form is trying to get out there.
Yeah, that's good advice, because we all know that X doesn't really like long form content as much as it likes that
They
short form
don't.
content. So,
and even doing that though, just doing a one-liner is going to get far more impressions than either of those two things I just described. So that's where that relationship and authentic, really building connections with people. Cindy knows if she saw a one-liner, there's something meatier over on my page, and she's going to come over and look and say, hey, what has Aura been up to? And I'm getting way more conscientious about doing that as well. But, I've given up on the monetization program at this point in the way it currently stands. And I really am just focused on the rewards that I have gotten for all the time and energy that I've spent on this platform working for the money. The only rewards I've gotten are the people. And man, it's a gold mine of people on this platform, you guys. It is so worth the grind, as you call it, to go out and find those people, because there are so many smart, dedicated, amazing people. A lot of them are content creators, but not all of them are. A bunch of them just share people's content because they're trying to educate and entertain. So, the experts will tell you ignore them if it's all repost. I will tell you the exact opposite, but I'm not an expert. If you see somebody floating around and they're engaging with your stuff, send them a DM. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I noticed you liked my stuff. I just want to say hi, because often there's a real person behind there. And I can't tell you how many times somebody's like, wow, you're the first person to ever DM me here. Yeah. So that was it. So
yeah. Well, and then that's how the algorithm will connect you too, because the more that you have contact with that person, the more the algorithm shares your content with them and vice versa. So yeah, that's great advice. And then, I did want to say another thing that I have done a couple times that really works to help kind of get eyeballs on long form content or even videos, because I've noticed that sometimes my videos don't perform as well as they should, is drop a lead. Let people know what you're working on. Let people know why you are not on the platform, grinding away and engaging with people that day. Let people know you have something in the works, and that kind of sparks a little bit of interest. And then also something I've done is, if you do get a lot of comments or replies on that, and you don't reply to the people right away, probably because, the reason I've noticed this is because I didn't reply to them because I was working on a project. But then when you do get that project posted, go through that original post and reply to all those people, let them know that work is ready to be viewed or whatever. And then that gives a lot of engagement to that project, whether it's an article or a long form post or something like that. That's kind of like another Trojan horse method that I've recently kind of learned about, I think. So
no, that absolutely works, Rich. So when I do the one-liners, I get a lot of engagement, a lot of comments, sometimes like 100 comments. And I'm used to, on a long form post, I might get like 17 or 20. And if I go back through and reply to all those comments, then that gets that other stuff back out in the For You again. And you can also revitalize. This is something we've learned recently. Well, other people have known, but I just learned recently, connected the dots and realized the importance. When you have content, and especially people that put a lot of energy and time into their content, it's only on the For You for maybe 24, 48 hours. If you're really lucky, 72. You can get it back into the For You by going back and reinvigorating conversations that were under that content. If people start engaging back on it, it will start putting the content back out in the For You.
Yeah, I agree. I've noticed that happen. And it wasn't that I was trying to make that happen on purpose. It's that I just wasn't able to engage with that post immediately until like a day later. And then when I started engaging with it, I noticed that, whoa, it did reinvigorate it and bring life back to it. So yeah, that's just something that I've noticed just by like my normal, everyday activities. But yeah, that's good to share that. That's kind of like, why we have these spaces, so we can come together and, share these ideas and experiences. Go ahead.
Is that what you would call threading? Because I've been trying to figure out how to get posts to generate threads, especially like in my own stuff. I'm trying to add a long form to the pin post on my profile, and I haven't been able to get that to work.
So are you talking about like a thread? When I hear a thread, I think of like a post that has like multiple replies below it. Like this is reply 1, reply 2, reply 3, all by the same
Oh,
author,
and
that
Rich is
creates a thread.
glitching out again.
Yeah, that's probably his computer. But yeah, that's exactly what I was.
Okay, I'm on expert, Jeff, because I've not gotten this to work properly. So when you create your post, your first post, and you're tick-tacking away, test, if you look down, there's going to be, before you hit, instead of hitting post, there's a plus sign. You hit that plus sign, and then it says add another post. And then you can keep doing that. I don't know how long. So I guess it gets glitchy, I've heard, and I believe it because it seems to glitch for me if you do too many. Chris, you have more?
I think there's a limit.
No, I
don't
know.
know if it's like 10 or 15 or something like that, but eventually
it's like 30.
That's 30. Okay. Well, there you go.
But you can add to that. So there's like 30 that you can do all within that original post. But then once you get those posted, you can go to that last one and then you can add another 30, because I've done that.
So you can basically set it up so that it never ends.
Basically, I think so. I don't know if there is a limit, like an ultimate limit.
I don't know, but you
you
just gave me a banger post. This is the post that never ends. Okay, so Rich, we've only got like a minute until the end of the show. So I wanted to ask you, when is the next collaboration station space?
Oh, you're so awesome. So if everybody would please join us this Sunday for the next collaboration station space. It is at 5 p.m. Central Time, I believe. Just come to the community collaboration station. It's right up there at the top of the space. Please join our community. They're always community spaces. They are all listed there at the top of the community. We do schedule them in advance, and you can listen to all the previous spaces that we've had. And Cate puts together like a podcast that you can listen to. And there's a lot of other really cool stuff coming out of our community. So please check out the Collaboration Station community, request to join, and then, please come back to our spaces. We usually have a little better guided discussion. Cate Bligh, who is in the listener area right there, she is usually our host, but she's busy today. But I do want to say that this has been a really good space. I did the best that I could. Hopefully that was okay. And I just want to throw it to Christopher for any sort of closing remarks, anything you got working on that you want to share with us. Just kind of wrap it up.
Well, we got the results of the poll. What era would you want to try time travel to? And tied for second place is 1940s and 1950s, 1980s to 1990s, or other. And then nobody specified anything other than the 60s in there. And number one is 1960s to 1970s. But I'm going to go with 1940s just because I like the look of the era. But yeah. So I've got, I have a analog horror series coming up called Capstone. It's going to be released within the next week or two. It's 5 episodes. It's already done. And there's going to be an actual marketing campaign behind it and some big names. I actually did this in collaboration with some big names that you would know if you're in the AI space. So very exciting. I'm looking forward to sharing that with everybody.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm excited to see that. And then also, you are involved in that AI Alice in Wonderland project too, right?
Yes.
And that's coming soon?
Yeah. We just announced it's like a bunch of the top creators in AI video. We're all getting together and we're all doing our own separate scenes from it. And we've got voice actress. So it's going to be funded. It's going to be actually in theaters. So looking forward to that. It's going to be big.
Yeah, that looks really, really cool. I'm excited to see that. And then Aura, how about you? Anything you got going on? Any sort of closing remarks, last minute thoughts you want to share with us?
Well, I think you were a fabulous host, Rich, as always. And I want to thank Cate as, just for everything that you put into the community. Christopher, always an interesting time. I do believe that the 80s should have been the number one answer because most of us have, Microsoft. Come on, guys. And so look forward to my post that never ends, and we will have the definitive answer to how many posts you can put into a thread. I don't know how long it's going to take me. I've got quite a bit of it.
It should take you.
I love it.
Literally.
Yeah, everybody check out Aura's post. I'm sure it's going to go far because that's exactly what the algorithm wants. Jeff, thank you for joining us today. I didn't know if you had any last minute remarks, anything you wanted to share with us before we close up. But yeah, so thank you for joining. Thank everybody. And please join us this coming Sunday for the next Collaboration Station Space. Thank you, everyone.